Have you ever felt ignored? Turning the pain of being overlooked. Why we can't stop thinking about someone, a deep dive into the mind. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, I want to explore a topic that many of us can relate to. Have you ever found yourself thinking about someone constantly, even when they're no longer in your life? It's as if their presence lingers in your mind, long after the messages stop, the calls fade, and the connection ends. It's not just a passing thought, it's a persistent feeling. Why does this happen? What's the psychology behind it? And most importantly, how can we understand it and move forward? If you've ever felt trapped by these emotions, you're not alone. Stick with me as we unravel this fascinating yet complex experience together. Chapter 1: The Power of Emotional Connections. Our relationships with people, whether romantic, platonic, or familial, are built on emotional bonds. These bonds aren't just mental, they're deeply biological. When we connect with someone, our brain releases chemicals like dopamine, the reward hormone, and oxytocin, often called the bonding hormone. These chemicals create feelings of happiness, safety, and connection. Think about the times you've laughed with someone, felt seen by them, or shared a deep conversation. Your brain remembers those moments and associates that person with these positive emotions. But what happens when the connection ends? The brain doesn't just turn those feelings off. It keeps seeking that person, almost like how it craves sugar after a diet change. The emotional high they provided becomes something we long for, even if they're no longer part of our reality. Chapter 2: The Role of Unfinished Business. Now, let's talk about unresolved emotions, what I like to call unfinished business. Imagine you had an important relationship that ended abruptly, maybe through a breakup, a fallout, or even losing touch over time. Your mind holds on to the last interaction, replaying it like a movie on loop, trying to find a resolution that never came. This isn't just emotional, it's psychological. The human brain is wired to seek closure. It's why cliffhangers in TV shows or unresolved endings in books leave us feeling uneasy. When someone exits your life without a clear conclusion, your brain struggles to file it away as complete. You might find yourself asking questions like, what if I had said this? Did I do something wrong, or will we ever reconnect? These thoughts can consume you, not because you're weak or overly emotional, but because your mind is trying to solve an unfinished puzzle. Chapter 3: Nostalgia and Idealization. Nostalgia plays another significant role. Have you ever noticed how your mind seems to glorify the past? You might catch yourself thinking about all the good times with someone while conveniently forgetting the conflicts, frustrations, or reasons the relationship ended. This is because our brains tend to idealize what we've lost. It's like looking at an old photograph, everything seems perfect because the details are blurred. Nostalgia gives us a rose-tinted view of the past, making us yearn for something that might not have been as perfect as we remember. What's tricky is that this idealization keeps us hooked. We're not holding on to the real person or relationship but to an edited, polished version that exists only in our minds. It's a tough realization but an important step toward letting go. Chapter 4: The Mystery of Curiosity. Curiosity is a sneaky culprit in why we can't stop thinking about someone. You might wonder, what are they doing now? Do they ever think about me? Are they happy? These questions can spiral, especially in the age of social media. It's tempting to scroll through their profile, looking for signs of how they're doing. But here's the thing, curiosity often traps us in a cycle. The more you look, the more questions arise, and the harder it becomes to move forward. Curiosity is natural. It's part of being human. But feeding it can keep you tethered to someone who's no longer actively part of your life. Chapter 5: Memory Triggers and Emotional Echoes. Let's talk about memory triggers. Have you ever walked past a certain place, heard a particular song, or smelled a familiar scent, and suddenly been flooded with memories of someone? These triggers are incredibly powerful. Our brains associate sensory input with emotional experiences. A specific cafe might remind you of a conversation you had there. A song might transport you back to a road trip you took together. These triggers aren't just random, they're your brain's way of storing and recalling meaningful connections. While beautiful, these emotional echoes can also be painful, keeping us tied to someone we're trying to move past. Chapter 6: Coping with Persistent Thoughts. Understanding why someone occupies your thoughts is one thing. But how do you cope? How do you let go when your brain keeps pulling you back? Here are some steps you can take. 1. Acknowledge your feelings. It's okay to miss someone. Suppressing your emotions will only make them stronger. Allow yourself to feel, but set boundaries for how much time you'll spend dwelling on those thoughts. 2. Find closure. If possible, have a conversation to resolve any lingering questions or feelings. If that's not an option, write a letter to express what you're feeling, even if you never send it. 3. Focus on yourself. Redirect your energy towards self-care. Take up a hobby, set new goals, or spend time with people who uplift you. 4. Limit triggers. If certain places, songs, or social media profiles reignite old feelings, it's okay to take a break from them. 5. Seek professional help. If these thoughts become overwhelming, don't hesitate to reach out to a therapist or counselor. They can provide guidance and tools to help you process your emotions. Closing thoughts. It's important to remember that thinking about someone isn't a sign of weakness. It's a reflection of how deeply you cared and how meaningful that connection was to you. But while it's normal to feel this way, it's also important to recognize when it's time to let go. You are deserving of peace, joy, and new connections. By understanding the psychology behind these lingering thoughts and taking steps to heal, you can move forward with a lighter heart and a clearer mind. Thank you so much for tuning in today. If this topic resonated with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more content, and share it with someone who might need to hear it. Until next time, take care of yourself, you deserve it.